March 1st on this day, in 45, the first leap day was introduced by proclamation of Julius Caesar. Under the old Roman calendar, the last day of February had marked the end of the year. In 1565, Portuguese soldier Estácio de Sá founded the city of Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, marking an important moment in the country's colonial history. In 1642, Georgiana, now known as York in Maine, became the first incorporated American city, setting a precedent for local government in colonial America. In 1692, Sarah Good, Sarah Osborne, and Tituba were arrested in Salem, Massachusetts, accused of practicing witchcraft. This event marked the beginning of the infamous Salem witch trials. In 1776, French minister Charles Gravier advised his Spanish counterpart to support American rebels against the English, influencing the course of the American Revolution. In 1780, Pennsylvania became the first American state to abolish slavery, although the new law applied only to those born afterward. In 1803, Ohio was admitted as the 17th state in the United States, expanding the nation westward. In 1808, Napoleon Bonaparte created an imperial nobility in France, reorganizing French society and consolidating his power. In 1810, Frédéric Chopin, a renowned composer and pianist of the Romantic period, was born. Chopin became famous for his inventive piano compositions and concertos. In 1815, Napoleon Bonaparte landed at Caen, France, returning from exile on Elba with a force of 1,500 men, beginning his dramatic march toward Paris. In 1837, William Dean Howells, the influential American novelist and editor, was born. In 1847, Michigan became the first English-speaking jurisdiction to abolish the death penalty, except for treason against the state. In 1869, United States postage stamps featuring engraved scenes were issued for the first time, depicting images such as a post horse and rider, a locomotive, a shield, an eagle, and a steamship named Adriatic. In 1871, German troops entered Paris during the Franco-Prussian War, marking a pivotal moment in European history. In 1872, Yellowstone was designated as the world's first national park, laying the foundation for the global conservation movement. In 1875, the United States Congress passed the Civil Rights Act of 1875, aiming to prevent racial discrimination in public spaces and civic duties, though it was later invalidated by the Supreme Court. In 1904, Glenn Miller, the famous big band leader and trombonist of the 1930s and 1940s, was born. In 1912, Albert Berry completed the first in-flight parachute jump from a Benoit airplane over Kinloch Field in St. Louis, Missouri. In 1914, Ralph Ellison, the African-American author best known for his novel Invisible Man, was born. In 1915, the Allied powers announced their goal to cut off all German supplies during World War I, aiming to ensure the safety of neutral countries. In 1917, Robert Lowell Jr., who would later win the Pulitzer Prize in 1947 for his poetry collection Lord Weary's Castle, was born. In 1919, the March 1st movement began in Seoul, as protesters launched demonstrations demanding Korean independence from Japan, marking a pivotal moment in Korean history. In 1921, Howard Nemerov, a future Pulitzer Prize-winning writer, was born. In 1932, Charles Lindbergh's 2-year-old son, Charles Augustus Jr., was kidnapped from their home near Hopewell, New Jersey. The child was later found murdered, and Bruno Hauptmann was convicted and executed for the crime. In 1936, after 5 years of construction, the Hoover Dam was completed on the Colorado River at the Arizona-Nevada border. It became the highest concrete arch dam in the United States. In 1941, Bulgaria joined the Axis powers during World War II, as Nazi forces occupied the capital city of Sofia. In 1942, Japanese troops landed on the island of Java in the Pacific, expanding their reach during World War II. In 1943, the British Royal Air Force launched strategic bombing raids targeting all major European railway lines during World War II. In 1950, Swedish actress Ingrid Bergman divorced her husband, Swedish dentist Petter Aron Lindström, after 12 years of marriage. In 1954, the United States exploded Castle Bravo, a hydrogen bomb with an estimated yield of 15 megatons, at Bikini Atoll. The test accidentally became the most powerful nuclear device ever detonated by the country. In 1960, 1,000 black students prayed and sang the national anthem on the steps of the former Confederate Capitol in Montgomery, Alabama, demonstrating for civil rights. In 1961, President John F. Kennedy established the Peace Corps, creating opportunities for Americans to serve abroad and promote goodwill. In 1969, New York Yankees legend Mickey Mantle announced his retirement due to persistent knee injuries, ending an 18-season career with 536 home runs and a .298 batting average. In 1973, Pink Floyd released their eighth studio album, The Dark Side of the Moon. The album remained on the Billboard Top 200 chart for most of the next 14 years and sold over 50 million copies worldwide. In 1974, a grand jury indicted 7 aides of President Nixon for conspiracy in the Watergate scandal, marking a critical turn in American political history. In 1975, color television broadcasts began in Australia, introducing a new era of broadcasting for viewers. In 1992, Bosnian Serb forces began sniping in Sarajevo after Croats and Muslims voted for Bosnian independence, marking the start of the conflict in Bosnia. In 1994, Canadian singer Justin Bieber was born in London, Ontario. He later became known globally for his pop music hits and youthful charisma. In 2014, Alain Resnais, one of the leading French New Wave film directors of the late 1950s, died at the age of 91.
Subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's events.